Hi guys, welcome to Jay's How-To channel. I'm Jay, and today I'm going to teach you how to solder. Ironically, I'm going to teach you how to solder by repairing my own soldering iron. So here we go, let's get into it. All right here, we've got a broken off pin, and I'm going to open this up. So we've got to peel this rubber back and just kind of work this out and there you go. There you go. Okay, so for soldering, you really want to, so this is a damp sponge. What the sponge does is it cleans off the tip of your soldering iron. So once you tap it on the damp sponge, it actually creates steam, and the steam actually blasts away all of the flux that's in the solder and takes away a little bit of the solder. You get a clean bit of solder on the tip of the soldering iron. Now here I'm actually taking this apart. I was able to do this one-handed. Okay, so now I'm measuring the size of these pins. You can see it's like 68 thousandths of an inch. And now I'm going to go find a piece of wire or a piece of metal that's round, about the same size. So I found this little piece of wire that was in a like squeeze clamp, and yeah, it's about the same size, just a little bit smaller, but I think it's going to fit just fine. I clipped this piece off of that wire, and now I'm going to drive the broken pin out of the little plastic piece. Yeah, we're just going to tap it with the hammer a little bit, and yeah, there it goes. Okay, so I cut the wire, that piece of wire that I took from that clippy thing, and now I'm cutting it to the right size, that it's long enough for the pin and then long enough to solder onto the back of it. Now I'm heating this up, and I'm putting solder on where the wire goes, and that's called tinning. So you want to put that together and get this all heated up and then bring it over to the wire. Now this wire was pre-tinned and it had solder on it, so it really just soldered up very nicely. Yeah, let's poke this open. We're going to glue this up and make sure the pin doesn't move from the plastic piece. If you guys like my content, click that like button and subscribe. Yeah, here we are gluing it up again. Yeah, that's going to do really well. Yeah, solid. Okay, let's put this back together. Just line up the notch. There's a notch on the inside of the plastic, and there's a, well, you guys will see that. I mean, any connector you're taking apart, yeah, if there's there'll be a notch inside. There could be, if there's not, just make sure that you go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie. Get everything nice and tight. Okay, let's plug this in. Perfect. Now I'm going to take this sponge and I'm going to cut it up to fit in this little tray. Yeah, so the sponge actually takes care of the soldering tip. So when you're going to solder, you get the soldering iron super hot and make sure the sponge is damp when you're working with it with the soldering iron hot, and you'll clean it up with the sponge. What they call it is shocking the tip of the soldering iron. So when you shock this tip, it cleans it, and it hits it with steam. The steam blasts away all of the flux and solder. You put fresh solder on it when you're going. So now we're going fast forward through this, waiting for the soldering iron to heat up. So back when I was in the Navy, I took a class. I was an electronics technician in the Navy. I took a class on how to solder. They taught us how to solder very technically. It was a 3-day course, and I learned a ton about soldering. If you guys need tips on soldering, just leave a comment below, and I'll reach out to you. So there you go. Soldering iron's working really well. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Really appreciate you guys and powering down. And we'll see you in the next video.